In a shocking turn of events late Friday night, former President Donald Trump executed what is being described as a midnight purge, firing 12 inspectors general from major federal agencies in what critics are calling an unprecedented move designed to consolidate power. These dismissals, which occurred just hours after Pete Heith was confirmed as Secretary of Defense in a razor-thin Senate vote requiring Vice President J.D. Vance to cast a historic tiebreaker, have sent shockwaves through Washington. Heith, an individual widely viewed as unqualified for the position, became the linchpin for Trump's plan, as many now believe the timing of these terminations was deliberately orchestrated to occur after Heith's confirmation. According to reporting by The Washington Post, the fired inspectors general were notified via email from the White House Personnel Director, with their terminations taking immediate effect. This abrupt move has raised serious legal and ethical concerns, as federal law mandates that the president provide Congress with 30 days' notice before dismissing any inspector general. By circumventing this requirement, Trump has seemingly violated the law, a point emphasized by multiple legal experts and lawmakers. The firings targeted inspectors general from some of the government's largest and most significant agencies, including the Departments of Defense, State, Transportation, Veterans Affairs, Housing and Urban Development, Interior, and Energy. Most of those dismissed were appointees from Trump's own first administration, which has left even Trump loyalists within these agencies stunned and bewildered. One of the terminated inspectors general described the move as a widespread massacre, adding that the intent behind the firings appears to be installing loyalists in these key oversight roles. Inspectors general serve as independent watchdogs tasked with identifying fraud, waste, and abuse within federal agencies, and their impartiality is crucial to maintaining government accountability. One of the ousted inspectors general, speaking anonymously to The Washington Post, expressed disbelief. "It's absolutely shocking. These positions were designed to be insulated from political interference. Whoever Trump puts in now will be seen as a loyalist, and that undermines the entire system of checks and balances." Another dismissed official remarked, "The administration doesn't want anyone in these roles who might act independently." This move is counter to everything inspectors general are supposed to represent. Legal analysts and political observers have pointed out that this action is not just about removing dissenting voices, but is part of a broader strategy by Trump to neutralize oversight and consolidate control over the federal government. Inspectors general have investigatory powers to look into allegations of fraud and misconduct, and their removal could pave the way for unchecked abuses of power. Timing of the firings and the Heith confirmation. The timing of these firings has drawn particular scrutiny, especially given their proximity to Pete Heith's contentious confirmation as Secretary of Defense. The Senate vote was razor-thin, ending in a 50-50 tie that required Vice President J.D. Vance to step in and cast the deciding vote. This marked the first time in American history that a cabinet nominee was confirmed through a vice presidential tiebreaker. Critics argue that Trump's decision to wait until after Heith's confirmation to execute the firings was deliberate. Some senators who voted to confirm Heith, including prominent Republican Chuck Grassley, may have reconsidered their support had they known Trump planned to immediately fire the Defense Department's Inspector General, among others. Grassley has long been a staunch defender of inspectors general and has previously criticized presidents for failing to comply with legal requirements when removing them. In 2022, Grassley notably hit President Joe Biden for not providing sufficient justification when making changes to inspector general appointments, making his vote to confirm Heith all the more suspect in light of Friday night's events. As Kyle Cheney of Politico reported, the timing appears to have been carefully calculated to avoid any backlash that might have jeopardized Heith's confirmation. Once Heith was confirmed, Trump moved swiftly to carry out the firings, leaving no room for senators to retract their support or for Congress to intervene. Legal implications and historical context. The firings are not only unprecedented in their scale, but also appear to be a direct violation of federal law. Under legislation passed in 2022, presidents are required to provide a minimum of 30 days notice to Congress, along with a justification, before removing an inspector general. This law was designed to protect the independence of these oversight officials and prevent politically motivated purges. Trump's failure to adhere to this legal requirement has already sparked calls for litigation and congressional investigations. This is not the first time Trump has clashed with inspectors general. During his first term, he fired 5 inspectors general in less than 2 months in 2020, including the State Department's inspector general, who had been investigating alleged misconduct by then-Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. At the time, Trump's actions were widely criticized as retaliatory and indicative of his broader disregard for institutional norms. The scale of Friday's firings dwarfs those earlier actions and has left many government employees reeling. A senior executive in one inspector general's office described the mood among staff as absolutely shocked, adding, "This is totally unprecedented. It's what we feared might happen, but seeing it actually unfold is something else entirely." Broader political and ethical concerns. The firings underscore a troubling pattern of behavior by Trump, who has long sought to undermine independent institutions and consolidate power within the executive branch. By removing inspectors general en masse and replacing them with loyalists, Trump is effectively dismantling one of the few mechanisms of accountability within the federal government. This move comes amid a broader effort to reshape the government in his image, with critics accusing him of turning federal agencies into tools for advancing his personal and political agenda. The removal of the Defense Department's Inspector General is particularly alarming given Heith's controversial appointment as Secretary of Defense. Heith, whose background and qualifications have been widely criticized, will now oversee a department stripped of its independent watchdog, raising serious concerns about potential abuses of power and lack of oversight. The timing of the firings also raises questions about Trump's motives. Some observers have pointed to recent political events, such as Trump's public humiliation during his visit to California, as potential catalysts for the purge. During a tense encounter on the tarmac, California Governor Gavin Newsom confronted Trump, shaking his hand firmly and reportedly poking him in the chest while admonishing him for his conduct. This highly publicized incident may have further fueled Trump's desire to assert control and retaliate against perceived enemies. Looking ahead, the fallout from these firings is likely to be significant, with legal challenges and congressional inquiries almost certain to follow. The dismissals have already drawn condemnation from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, though it remains to be seen whether Republicans will hold Trump accountable for what appears to be a blatant violation of federal law. As the situation unfolds, it will serve as a critical test of the resilience of America's democratic institutions and the rule of law.